You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Well, just huge stuff happening here, and President Trump is smoking a lot of people out. And today on True Social, President Trump posted an article from TMZ and a letter from Stormy Daniels. And Stormy Daniels said that there never was an affair between her and Donald Trump, that it never happened.
Is this a letter she wrote to TMZ?
This is a letter from 2018 that I am shocked that none of us have ever seen this before. And it's amazing. And TMZ had a big story on it, and President Trump linked up the story, including a screenshot of the letter itself. So I'm going to read this letter, and it is from Stormy Daniels. It is signed by Stormy Daniels, and it's dated January 30th, 2018. So this is 5 years ago, actually over 5 years. To whom it may concern, over the past few weeks, I have been asked countless times to comment on reports of an alleged sexual relationship I had with Donald Trump many, many, many years ago. The fact of the matter is that each party to this alleged affair denied its existence in 2006. She had a big typo. She said 20011, meaning 2011. Hey, she's a porn actress, you know, what do you want? 2016, 2017, and now again in 2018. I am not denying this affair because I was paid hush money, as has been reported in overseas-owned tabloids. I am denying this affair because it never happened. I will have no further comment on the matter. Please feel free to check me out on Instagram at the Stormy Daniels. And she signed it. Thank you, Stormy Daniels. So this is absolutely amazing. We have had in the last 24 hours, less than 24 hours, 2 letters written by 2 of the biggest Trump accusers.
Yep.
And of course, this one was Stormy Daniels, and then Michael Cohen admitting that Trump had nothing to do with this hush money to Stormy Daniels. He did it with his own money. Trump never paid him back in any way, shape, or form, from his campaign, from his company, from himself. And these 2 letters just totally show that never happened.
What was Michael Cohen doing?
Well,
what is this all about?
It's
her and the payment? Did they concoct this together?
Well,
I mean, what the hell is this whole thing about here?
Well, the thing with Michael Cohen talking about it so much lately is because he was facing 50 years in prison, and the government put pressure on him to say all these things to avoid, going to prison for 50 years. So that's why he's doing that. So far,
but why did the initial payment and all that occur? Why did this even start?
What I'm starting to suspect is, if you go back to that time, there were all these fake things going on against President Trump, and I think that the Uniparty was behind it. I think people set this up. Why did this happen all of a sudden? If she never had sex with Trump, all they had was this photograph, why would he pay her? Michael Cohen, all those scummy crimes he was facing 50 years in prison for, he had already been doing those.
Why did he give her the hush money? What was that all about?
I'm telling you, I think that the Uniparty, the establishment, the deep state were setting Trump up. They had a photograph of Donald Trump with her. So then they created this false narrative, and Michael Cohen doing the hush money payoff gave credibility to the rumors they would start with the photograph.
Because it's the hush money and all that was right before the election when all that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they had stuff on him even then. I mean, he's a sleaze, and maybe they went to him and had him do this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so they could bring it back later.
And
that makes sense.
And if you remember, right, at that point, they knew Donald Trump was going to win, right? They knew he was going to win. Hillary was going to lose. And if you remember, they went to him with the fake Russian dossier when he was president-elect. They did. See, this is the thing people have to understand, okay? every president we've had other than Donald Trump has been groomed to be president for most of their life.
Yeah.
And if they haven't,
like Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. If they haven't, they're compromised somehow.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump slipped in and he wasn't compromised. So what they did is they tried to get something on him to control him. They had that fake Russian dossier. And if you remember with the dossier, Christopher Steele gave it to John McCain. Why is John McCain in a park in D.C. being given by British intelligence this dossier?
Yeah,
He's
the ultimate rhino.
Yeah, this thing with Stormy Daniels. This is what I'm trying to explain, and maybe I'm not articulating it well, but this is really deep stuff. So they know Trump's going to win. They got nothing on him. They can't control him. And think about that, right? They got all that listening in on his house and campaign headquarters. They found nothing. So someone came across this photograph of Donald Trump with Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
They looked into who she was. They crafted this narrative.
Yes.
Okay, we'll say that he had sex with her, cheating on Melania while she was pregnant with Barron, remember? Well, Michael Cohen, he's a scummy lawyer. Okay, we got a lot of dirt on him. He's facing 48 years in prison. We'll go to Michael Cohen. We'll get him to pay her hush money to establish that credibility to this false narrative that we're going to spread about Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels. This is real deep state intelligence craft. I mean, this is like out of a movie.
I think it's safe to say that the grand juries, this thing in New York is going to fall apart very quickly.
That's over.
More liberal tears are coming. The liberals pin their hopes and dreams on the scummiest people. I mean, they need new heroes. I've said this. I mean, you got Stormy Daniels, Avenatti, Michael Cohen, and all these other people that come forward. They get so, I tell you, it must be so frustrating for them. They get so close, and yet so far. They just can't get Trump the way they want to. And instead of actually being circumspect and being like, maybe this guy is not a bad guy.
Exactly.
Instead of that, they double down again and again, and they go for the next scheme and the next porn actress and the next sleazy lawyer. And CNN actually told Avenatti he should run for president. They said he was saving the country.
That's right.
These are the sleaziest people that they're dealing with. And like I said, they're pinning all their hopes and dreams on these scumbags. It's just hilarious to watch. And I realized today, this morning or whatever, that I have new respect for Trump, even though I've always respected him, but now it's even more so. This is a guy that is savvy and he's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, he's just sharp on a whole other level. He thinks on a whole other level. I know he had these letters in his possession for a long time, just like with his taxes, right? He held him. He got the liberals all in a tizzy, and then they finally got him, and there was nothing there. I think he enjoys it. He's had these letters for years. He didn't just find these letters. He's had these letters. He's known about these letters. But what he did is he waited until the right moment. I've heard him say timing is very important.
Yeah.
And he just thinks on a whole other level, and he waited for the right moment. And I think he was trying to smoke out DeSantis. I really do. I think he wanted to show the voters what this rhino is all about and what a phony he is. And I think that's why he held the letter, because he wanted to wait until the very last minute to see what DeSantis would do and if he would come to his defense.
Yeah.
He knew he wouldn't. And he said, let me see this guy, what he's going to do. That is why he announced he was getting arrested. I read an article today that said now they're mad at Trump for claiming a false arrest. They're so pathetic. They're trying to go after him for that now. But I think he announced his arrest because he wanted DeSantis to see what he would do. Everybody says he plays 4D chess, and they're right. He is smart on a level that I just cannot comprehend. Well, he's just on a whole other level, guys.
So President Trump has a rally this weekend in Waco, Texas, and this is going to be the rally of all rallies. And what's going to happen, there's some things we got to look at here, okay? And this is very important. And Newsmax, we were talking yesterday on the podcast. Newsmax is back on DirecTV and AT&T Uverse, okay? This is very, very, very important for the Trump rally this weekend. Make sure you have your television set turned on to Newsmax. Even if you're watching on Right Side Broadcasting on your phone or something, on your televisions, have Newsmax on. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. It's not just because I'm a fan of Newsmax, okay? Fox News has not been carrying the Trump rallies. They put the Trump rallies on the Fox Nation app so they can have any like, oh, we got it on the app. It's on the app, but Fox News, unless something extraordinary happens, is not going to carry the rally. Now Trump's big in the news this week, so they may break their ban and carry the rally. They did carry his CPAC speech.
They did.
But it's important to have Newsmax on because when Newsmax has carried the Trump rally, they've beat Fox News in the ratings big time. And on Monday morning, when there's news reports about the ratings, the higher the number of millions who were watching the rally on Newsmax will make a big impact on the media. So it's important to have Newsmax on.
Yeah.
You can still watch on Right Side.
Yeah, just turn the volume down if you want.
Just have it on your television. And this is amazing. And this rally, it's in Waco, Texas, which seems kind of a crazy place to have a rally, but hey, government oppression all over the place, causing all kinds of problems. And I know
this better be a big rally. You guys in Waco better show up.
This rally,
it's going to be important.
Is going to be one of Trump's most important speeches because I imagine he's going to give us a behind the scenes, talk a lot about the events of this last week. And it's absolutely amazing.
I hope Newsmax carries this rally, as I said on yesterday's show. I think they will too. But if they don't, that was part of their deal with AT&T and DirecTV. But I think they'll carry it. But I agree with Brian. Put it on Newsmax, even if you turn the volume down. But Newsmax has really good coverage of the rallies. I prefer to watch it on there. The picture's better. But what I'll do is put RSBN on my phone or my iPad.
Yeah.
So they get credit for the watch too. But
Newsmax on past rallies of Trump, they've had about 3 million viewers. Trump is so big in the news right now. If we could get that up to like 5, 6, 8 million,
be huge.
The number of people watching on Newsmax is a story, and it will really wake up a lot of the fake news media. There's stuff with Donald Trump this week in New York fell apart for a number of reasons. Costello's testimony, other things. I get that, but a lot of what happened this week with him not being charged, with President Trump not being arrested, had to do with the fact that new polls came out. The Morning Consult poll had President Trump 28 points ahead of DeSantis. And President Trump's popularity is at an all-time high because the government is failing and inflation is so high and all these other things that are going on. You guys know, I don't have to go through a list. You know what's going on.
Not to mention China and Russia meeting and trying to take over our country. I mean, there's a lot of scary things going on.
That Putin summit with the Chinese, so there's a lot happening. Trump is more popular today than at any point since he came down the escalator, and the American people want him back because even people that don't like him, which I don't understand why people don't like him, but even people that don't like him are like, okay, he can fix these problems.
This is how I know, because I've often questioned, how can Trump sleep? I'd be so worried about all this.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But this is why he doesn't worry, because he knows he knows what's really going on, and he knows that he's innocent, but he also has all this evidence that he's got in his possession that he knew he was going to release this week. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't sweating it at all. I mean, this is why Trump never sweats it, because he seems to me very fastidious and the kind of guy who really keeps good records, and every he's putting this book out of all the letters he's received. He should put Stormy Daniels' letter in there, and no, but he's putting this book out of all the letters he's received from celebrities of them kissing his butt, as he says. But I feel like he's the kind of guy that keeps every document he's ever received, keeps very good records. They like to portray him as chaotic and messy and sloppy, and that's not it at all. I think he's probably extremely well organized, almost to an obsessive point. with correspondence, and I'm sure he has an incredible memory. He's very sharp, and he's just amazing to me. Really,
Yeah,
I mean, that's all I can
is.
say. I mean, I was wrong about DeSantis. I'm sad
Everybody
that
was
it's
wrong.
worked out that way. I feel like I was snowed and we were just all tricked. He was never with Trump. In fact, I think he hates Trump, and I think he's always hated Trump. He's in love with Paul Ryan, and that's who he's emulating. Well, good luck. Look what happened to him. He got out of politics. He emulates Ryan, Mitt Romney, and the Bushes. Those are his guys. He never liked Trump. And he used Trump and he used us to get in office, and it really aggravates. That's just awful.
Well, yeah. Now,
He's a snake.
I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. And if you would like to support the show by becoming a patron of the program, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description of this episode. There's a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes, by the way. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P., Carlos, Paulette, John, and Arctic Fox. Also, if you just want to go directly to the website, our Patreon website is patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. We'll be right back.
Are you struggling to connect with your teen? Are you worried about the troubles your teen is facing in today's world? Don't miss out on the ultimate guide to faith-led parenting with the book from Script Seeds, Parenting Teens Through Faith, available on Amazon. Parenting Teens Through Faith is your essential handbook to raising confident, resilient, and empowered teenagers. This book provides practical advice for providing a strong, faith-based foundation for building character, virtues, and resilience in your teen. You'll also discover essential biblical principles for providing hope and confidence, no matter your faith background. Start building a stronger, more resilient family with Parenting Teens Through Faith, available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions on Amazon. This book is perfect for church groups. Order your copy right now. In the heart of the wilderness, one young man is about to embark on a journey of self-discovery. From D. Gee Productions comes The Watcher on the Mountain, a captivating 112-page book available now on Amazon. Follow the story of a young man raised deep in the forest of America, struggling to find his place in the world after a tragic discovery. When his mysterious father is suddenly ripped away from him, he must confront his own mortality and face the haunting secrets of his father's past. Will the young man find his purpose and meaning in life, or will his journey end in tragedy? Don't miss this tale of self-discovery and mystery. Order your copy of The Watcher on the Mountain from D. Gee Productions on Amazon right now and start your journey.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You know, today's podcast, this is a special report, actually. We were not going to podcast today, but this Stormy Daniels revelation is why we're here podcasting today. And, you know, the thing about it, people, I know those of you that are MAGA people understand this. The general public, I think, are finally starting to realize this. Every single allegation made against Donald Trump, he's been completely cleared.
It's incredible.
And it's been all lies and all slanders. Now, Bragg, the district attorney in New York, this guy's going to end up in some big trouble. Listen to this. Manhattan, this is at Fox News' website, foxnews.com. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg responded to several leading House Republican requests for information on the probe into Donald Trump, saying Trump created a false expectation that his arrest was imminent. I've never heard of anything like this, is what you were mentioning, Kathy. Bragg's general counsel sent a 5-page letter to GOP House Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, Brian Steele of Wisconsin, and James Comer of Kentucky regarding their request for documents and testimony in the Trump investigation. The district attorney's office said the investigation is one of thousands conducted by the office in its history, and that Bragg stands by his pledge to release the conclusion of the investigation publicly. Your letter dated March 20th is an unprecedented inquiry into a pending local prosecution. It goes on and on with a bunch of legal stuff. Bragg is refusing to testify to Congress. Now, I don't think you can do that. They have subpoena authority, and you can be held in contempt of Congress. And if you remember, they wanted Bannon to testify, and he wasn't going to, and the Democrats were going to send U.S. Marshals to arrest Bannon and force him to testify to Congress. So Bragg, you just can't decide, I'm not going to testify. If they send you a congressional subpoena, you've got to go. And they have a police force, obviously, we've heard a lot about the last couple of years.
What he's going to say now, what I said before, what they're going to say now is that Trump gave the false information that he was going to be arrested. And they're going to say that as part of his defense now. Well, I wasn't planning on arresting him. I never said I was going to arrest him. He came out and said that falsely and gave false information. America. Well, exactly. I mean, what's worse? And then there was a report on the Gateway Pundit that he hid 600 documents from evidence.
Bragg did, yeah.
Bragg. So he's in bigger trouble. And Michael Cohen, I think his biggest fear, according to that Trump lawyer, is being in prison. And he said he will say anything and do anything to stay out of prison.
Yeah, Costello said
that. He's such a wimp. But anyway, I mean, nobody wants to go to jail, but still. But he's the kind of guy that will say whatever he has to say to protect his own butt. He has no conviction or anything. But that guy's going to be in trouble because he lied to a grand jury. And I'm assuming that's a big deal. Do that under oath.
Michael Cohen committed perjury in front of the grand jury. He lied to Congress, which they put people in prison for. And he lied to the prosecutors that he made his plea deal with to avoid all that prison time.
Then something needs to happen with that.
So his plea deal, since he lied for it, is null and void, and he could be facing all those years in prison still.
Well, let's see if the House, who would pursue that? Who would have to go after him on the Bragg? I don't know if that's going to happen. Well, they have to have a sacrificial lamb. They have to have somebody to take the heat to take
Kevin McCarthy,
the brunt of all this.
Kevin McCarthy, they could get him on the line to Congress because he lied to Congress about all this. And I think because the other people would have to be the attorney general. He's not going to go after him.
No.
And Bragg's in liberal New York. They're not going to go after him. But Congress, the Republican-controlled Congress with Kevin McCarthy, could go after Michael Cohen for lying to Congress, which he did over this thing.
It's amazing when you really think about it, how many people have ended up in jail, either directly or indirectly having some connection with Trump. I'm not saying that they all deserve to be in jail.
Most of it's harassment.
He has had the biggest impact on these people's lives as one person that I've ever seen, between book deals, promotions, people ending like Manafort.
Yep.
Bannon's got jammed up with his thing. Roger Stone.
Bannon's Chinese friend.
Yeah, I mean, how many of these people, if Trump had never gotten into politics, would have just gone about their life and never had these things happen? It's just amazing what it shows you, good or bad, what a strong personality Trump is. And he's like a magnet for so many people, whether they hate him or love him. He really is almost like a beacon for people that the people that hate him cannot let him go. They think about him. They talk about him constantly. They dream about him. I mean, he just fills their mind 24/7. And people that love him talk about him and stuff too. He's really just an amazing person when you think of it in those terms. People just can't seem to shake Trump.
There's a lot of things going on here, but it's amazing how many high-level investigations in the Trump there have been to try to
it's incredible.
They're getting witnesses to perjure themselves, and he's so honest and so law-abiding.
He is.
There probably are not very many guys as rich as he is, especially in a place like New York City where he's done, where he made himself famous, who are so law-abiding.
Yeah.
But you know, the biggest thing that's going on right now is those of us that are MAGA people have known all these things all along were nonsense from the very first time when President Trump came out of Trump Tower and said, Obama's spying on me. We knew he was telling the truth.
Yep.
And I always thought that Access Hollywood tape, I talked about this at the time, I think they found out about that from the wiretapping on Trump Tower because, remember, that was President Trump's home at the time. He lives at Mar-a-Lago now full time, but that was his home. And that was his campaign headquarters. And I think they were listening in on their meetings. Well, what are some things that might come up?
And that's how they were. Because
and they were talking about that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they got, and with the Access Hollywood tape in Trump's first campaign, the only time I thought he was in trouble in the first campaign was that Access Hollywood tape.
Yeah, Billy Bush is back on. I didn't know he's back
they brought
on
him
Access
back.
Hollywood.
And
he's good on that show.
When he got the Christian minister's endorsement after that tape came out, that was great. And the Uniparty, the establishment of the Republicans, the Democrats, the media, they were in shock that he still got the evangelical support after that Access Hollywood tape came out.
Franklin Graham Jr., who's huge. We all love Franklin Graham. And his son supported him and said, Moses killed a guy, for God's sake. So did David. I mean, there's people in the Bible that God used for his purposes, Paul, that were horrible people at one point or did horrible things.
Not that Trump was ever a horrible person.
No, he wasn't. But I'm just saying, so Franklin Graham kind of came from that, I think, point of view. Look, with the Access Hollywood thing, look, the guy's not perfect. We all fall short, but there's bigger things here. Just like Moses, when he killed a man. Yeah, that's against, his own 10 commandments that he got from the mountain, from Mount Sinai, from God. That's, he broke that commandment, but God still used him to free the Jews from the Egyptians. And we all know that story. So I think Franklin Graham coming from that perspective of like, look, nobody's perfect, but we have to overlook these things because there's bigger things at stake here. And I think he understood what was going on.
Well,
and having that support from him and other leaders in the church, I think was critical for him.
The Access Hollywood tape, President Trump did nothing wrong with that. What President Trump said was because that...
It was a little crude, but it was a private conversation, so
people talk crudely in private.
Exactly. He's not Trump is a New Yorker. That's just his personality.
What he said was, because when he did that Billy Bush thing, is when he first was super famous with The Apprentice. He'd been famous for a long time, of course, but The Apprentice made him a different type, like a TV celebrity. Mm-hmm. And he said and what he told Billy Bush was, since I got famous on television with The Apprentice, these Hollywood women will do anything for you. They'll let you grab them by the blank. And they twisted
that's the point he was making.
It was really a comment on how loose and sleazy these actresses are out in Hollywood. He didn't grab anybody that didn't want to be grabbed or say people should do that. But what's happened now with this new stuff, okay, with this Bragg stuff, this grand jury stuff, we have always known, those of us that are MAGA people have known since they started throwing dirt at him. And that was the first major thing. That's why I brought this up.
Yeah, that was the first big thing.
Yeah, Access Hollywood was the first big thing. And we knew from then on till today what was up, that this is all fake stuff and they're lying about him. They're trying to say. And now all those people in the country that thought we were nuts and paranoid have realized, you know what? They really are trying to set Trump up with fake charges all the time.
You think people are realizing this?
People that aren't MAGA people are starting to realize, wait a minute, all these MAGA people are right. This guy's done nothing wrong.
Have you had people call in the radio show and tell you this, that they were wrong?
No, I haven't heard from any Democrats the last couple days.
That's what I want to hear.
What I'm talking about is I'm watching on social media, I'm watching the news, and a lot of people that hate Trump are realizing, you know what, all these MAGA people aren't crazy. They really are making stuff up about Trump. He's really a good guy that can help the country.
Yeah, I think this really will turn the tide on this whole event because they took it. Liberals always take everything too far. They can't control themselves. They can't stop. They're relentless. And I think this whole thing getting so close to the idea of putting an ex-president in jail I think really maybe did wake up a lot of people like, wait a minute. You know, we've talked about this in fun and it's been in the abstract, but now that they really want to do it, this is kind of crazy.
And he's been cleared and they see what extremes they go to try to set him up.
I hope they do.
You know, it's a big wake-up call for the country. If things were going well right now, it'd be a whole nother story. But people know how, even with COVID,
true,
people know how well things were going with Trump. And they see how bad things are going now, and they're like, wow, you know, Trump was really a great president. We want him back. And I'm talking about people that didn't like him are thinking that way now. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so we have really some amazing stuff here, too. There's just so much happening. So we were talking in the first segment, you still should do this. When Trump's rally is on the weekend, make sure you watch it on Newsmax so we can get them some huge ratings. But President Trump, who's back on YouTube, he has announced on his YouTube channel that he is going to carry the Waco, Texas rally live streaming on his official Donald Trump YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we're all there too.
This is amazing, and I'm sure they're not happy at Right Side Broadcasting.
No, I was just thinking that too.
Right Side Broadcasting must be like physically ill about this.
Yeah.
But Trump is going to carry his rally on his YouTube channel.
Did he used to do that before? Because Right Side's been there a long time. Did he ever carry the rallies on his own channel?
You know what? It's been so long, I don't remember. But I do know this. This is huge. So this is what you got to do. You got to put at least one of your television sets on Newsmax to give them the ratings, okay? And then you got to watch the rally on your computer, on your phone, on your iPad, on Trump's YouTube channel.
Yes, and I'm sure there'll be a chat too, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to tell you.
That'll be fun.
I'm going to tell you, okay? Now, it's Saturday night is the rally. The thing about Trump on YouTube, Donald Trump.
This is big.
We've got to let everyone know about this, okay?
Yes.
We've got to let everyone know about this because Donald Trump could actually have the largest number of viewers in a live stream in the history of YouTube. So it is important to tell everyone that you know to watch the Trump rally Saturday in Texas. Watch it on Donald Trump's own YouTube channel.
Subscribe and like too.
Whatever.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah. Well, we're already subscribed, and
I just got the notification.
And he's got the video up there. It's upcoming, so you might be able to like it already. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But could you imagine if he broke a YouTube live streaming record? Right Side Broadcasting just must be like so upset. You know, maybe he'll take the Right Side Broadcasting people and let them kind of like MC it on his channel.
I don't think so. I think he's just going to have like a live feed of his rally. That's all. I don't think he's going to have a team of people discussing it. I think he's just going to have the feed start.
Like a pool camera?
Yeah. He'll have it start when the speech starts or probably carry the whole event.
This is just amazing.
I think
this is
like
amazing.
Right Side, but if you have 3 or 4 devices, carry them on one. Trump, that's what we do. We'll put Right Side on one, Trump on the other. If you can do that, do that. But if you have to choose,
yeah,
I say especially this rally, do it on Trump's channel.
Nothing against Right Side, but getting Trump's YouTube numbers as on this rally as high as possible is very
I'm sure Right Side
important.
Isn't happy because this is definitely going to dig into their numbers for sure. Yeah. But you told me they carry the rally on Rumble now. They don't carry it on YouTube.
They've been carrying like up to the rally, and then they carry the actual rally on Rumble.
No, they have an app, I think.
Right Side has an app and everything else.
Yeah.
And Trump's been off YouTube for so long.
Yeah, I think this is exciting.
This is,
this is really great.
Things have changed so much. And the reason that all these things have caved and they have Trump back on is because he's been cleared and every accusation made against him.
Yep.
It's amazing. So listen, we're going to go, but tell everyone you know to watch Trump's rally Saturday night in Waco, Texas on Newsmax on their TV, but they've got to have President Trump's YouTube channel live stream of it on. We need President Trump to break the world record
for
the largest number of viewers ever on a YouTube live stream. And I'm going to be promoting this for the next several days. I'm going to start on Friday on the radio, and I'll be on YouTube and everything on Saturday. And I'm going to tell everybody I can tell through all of my platforms starting tomorrow to watch the Trump rally on President Trump's YouTube channel and try to break a world record. I don't know what the current record is for the most numbers of views on a live stream.
I don't know.
It's got to be well into the millions, but we can do it with Donald Trump. All right, guys, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you next time.
Are you struggling to connect with your teen? Are you worried about the troubles your teen is facing in today's world? Don't miss out on the ultimate guide to faith-led parenting with the book from Script Seeds, Parenting Teens Through Faith, available on Amazon. Parenting Teens Through Faith is your essential handbook to raising confident, resilient, and empowered teenagers. This book provides practical advice for providing a strong, faith-based foundation for building character, virtues, and resilience in your teen. You'll also discover essential biblical principles for providing hope and confidence, no matter your faith background. Start building a stronger, more resilient family with Parenting Teens Through Faith, available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions on Amazon. This book is perfect for church groups. Order your copy right now.